Thank you, Sophie. Hello and welcome to Look North. On the programme tonight, we bring you exclusive access to immigration officers tackling suspected illegal working in York.
It undercuts honest employers and it fuels the criminal industry and immigration crime.
The government say that tackling illegal working is one of their top priorities. Also tonight, a neo-Nazi from West Yorkshire who planned terror attacks on mosques and synagogues has been jailed for 19 years. The Leeds residents working together to welcome their feathered neighbours.
And we shall be live here at East Riddlesden Hall, just outside of Bradford, as this 17th century manor house and its beautiful grounds comes alive with the Diwali celebration.
Well, once again, all parts of our region have been overcast, but the weekend is approaching. Will the sun shine? Well, there are big changes on the way. Don't forget that detailed forecast.
Good evening and welcome to Friday's Look North. A major operation in North Yorkshire has been targeting illegal working in town and city centres. Look North had exclusive access to immigration officers as they made arrests at a shop and restaurant in York city centre. It was part of a day of action across the county, with North Yorkshire police officers also focusing on crimes like drugs and shoplifting. Here's our Home Affairs correspondent, Emma Glasby.
On a busy day in the centre of York, police are supporting immigration officers, carrying out enforcement activity in shops and restaurants.
Hello, good afternoon. Immigration officers, could we speak to the manager?
The officers have information there may be illegal workers at this city centre restaurant.
Immigration officers are now inside the restaurant checking the ID and the details of the workers there. They're also using an interpreter on the phone to ask them questions about their right to work here.
After checks are completed here, 2 men are arrested on suspicion of immigration offences. The team is spending the day in York carrying out targeted activity.
Illegal working is one of the government's top priorities and they're looking to clamp down on illegal working in the UK. It undercuts honest employers and it fuels the criminal industry. We can't let immigration offenders hide in plain sight and we can't just tackle the rural areas. City centres are rife with illegal working.
Go out, tell people what we're doing. This is all about public trust and confidence.
This was a day of increased police activity across all of North Yorkshire, also targeting crimes like drugs and shoplifting. But officers say the work with immigration is crucial to protect vulnerable people.
Now with immigration, they provide us information, intelligence of people probably that are being trafficked, people who are being exploited, and people who are vulnerable and can become victims of trafficking, because when someone really shouldn't be in the country or shouldn't be working, they're trying to survive and they'll do whatever they can to try and survive, to make a living, to support their family. But the main aim is to make sure people are kept safe.
In the centre of York, another man has been arrested on suspicion of immigration offences after checks were carried out on his right to work here.
How much of this enforcement activity is going on in Yorkshire?
There is a high amount of enforcement activity occurring. We're very proactive and we're out 2 or 3 times a week conducting these type of visits.
Is that an increase? Have you increased the amount of activity you're doing on this?
Yes, the government has prioritised illegal working, which has meant that our activity has significantly increased.
Across North Yorkshire, 7 people were arrested for immigration offences as part of this operation. 4 businesses could now face fines of tens of thousands of pounds if found liable. Emma Glasby, BBC Look North, York.
Next tonight, a neo-Nazi from West Yorkshire who idolised Hitler and planned terror attacks on mosques and synagogues has been jailed for 19 years. A jury heard Brogan Stewart from Leeds had a cache of weapons in his home. He, alongside 2 other men, were found guilty of preparing acts of terrorism. Beth Parsons reports.
It's not thought that the 3 men who were sentenced today had ever actually met in real life until they appeared in court together. They were part of an online group and have been described as followers of an extreme right-wing Nazi ideology. It was revealed in court how the three men had collected more than 200 weapons, including machetes, swords and crossbows. It was described in court how the trio were trying to recruit more members to the online group and were preparing for an attack at an Islamic education centre in Leeds.
So what I'm thinking, across to the target, then down that street, come back on ourselves to where that roundabout is. We can stop there, we can uncover the plates, we can get rid of masks, and then we can drive off.
In what police have called a complex case, including multiple police forces, the three men were arrested in February last year after undercover officers infiltrated the online group.
Those pages were filled with hate towards black and other non-white races, especially Muslim people and immigrants, with ideas of white supremacy and racial purity, together with a belief that there must soon be a race war between the white race on the one hand and other races on the other.
In May this year, the three men were found guilty of charges of preparing acts of terrorism and of collecting information likely to be useful to a person preparing or committing an act of terrorism. Today, Brogan Stewart from Tingley near Wakefield was jailed for 11 years. Christopher Ringrose from Staffordshire was also convicted of manufacturing a prohibited weapon and was jailed for 10 years, and Marco Pizzetto from Derbyshire for 8 years. Beth Parsons, BBC Look North, Sheffield Crown Court.
You're watching Friday's Look North. Still to come on tonight's programme. The gallery owner turned detective searching for a designer necklace that disappeared years ago. Now let's take a look at all our sporting action. Sally is here. What have you got, Sal?
Thank you, Amanda. Well, let's start with rugby league, shall we? Because after the Bradford Bulls were promoted to Super League yesterday, today it was announced they'll be joined by York Knights, who've also been selected to play in the sport's expanded Premier competition next season. For York, it means top flight rugby league will return to the city for the first time in 40 years. Adam Samuel reports.
It's been a season of celebration for York Knights, with the League Leaders' Shield and 1895 Cup to their name. And now, the cherry on top, a first ever entry into Super League. All this under the guidance of Chairman Clint Goodchild.
We don't want to just make up the numbers, we want to compete and improve and you know, do this city and this region proud. You know, we didn't come here to make Super League, we came here to be, you know, a club worthy of winning it. So we know that that's, you know, a long road ahead and we've got a lot of work to do, but yeah, thankful for this, you know, major step.
I feel real proud and privileged to be coaching York in Super League, and you know, let's not forget we're going up there because we want to compete. It's as simple as that, so it's a historic and proud day for the club.
The Knights stood out on 3 key criteria: financial viability, senior and academy playing strength, and a club grading system applied by sports company IMG.
Yeah, I think you just got to come here on a match day, especially some of the big games that we've seen towards the end of the season, Grand Final, League Leaders Shield I was here for, and the men's and women's game as well. And you've just got to be here on a match day and see this looks and feels like a Super League club and has done for a while. And it was really nice to see that come through the application process.
A York-based team hasn't played in the top tier of English Rugby League since York Wasps 40 years ago. So needless to say, fans of the club are excited.
It was like waiting for my first grandchild. It was just as exciting. It was absolutely stunning to hear the news.
I was over the moon, yeah, because I honestly thought they were not going to make it. I thought I had a feeling it was money talking, big business talking, as opposed to, like I said, performances.
Oh, so proud. It's a team that's they well deserve what they've got.
And what they've got is a shot at the big time. Adam Samuel, BBC Look North.
Now an update on Sheffield Wednesday. We know that the club is expecting to be served with a winding up petition imminently, over £1 million worth of unpaid taxes, and that could happen early next week. And although it sounds drastic, many supporters believe it's a move that could have a silver lining, making it easier for a new owner to come in and take over. Well, earlier today I spoke to football finance expert Dr Dan Plumley and asked him what impact a winding up order could have.
A winding up order is a motion to put an organisation into liquidation, ultimately. It happens all the time in businesses. Of course, we don't see football clubs go down that road. There is usually a buyout and somebody comes in and takes over the club. So it's always a horrible term to throw around, and obviously in a football sense, fans are really fearful of it, but it doesn't mean the end at this point in time.
In terms of timescales, this is a long process though, isn't it?
Probably weeks in the first instance. If it does go to a winding up petition and then ultimately into administration, you then have to have a date at court for that. Hopefully not months. The other side of the coin with administration is you don't want it to drag too long. So it would be kind of a quick process would be the best outcome all around, but it will still take a little bit of time.
We want our Wednesday bike.
For the fans who've been trying to get Chancery out for a number of months, a winding up process sounds scary, but there could be an upside to this, couldn't there?
I've termed it as kind of short-term pain for long-term gain. It is a scary word, it is something that fans don't want to hear, but in this instance, as you say, given the backstory, there is a small bit of positivity in this as well, that it could be one of the ways to get this owner out, which is ultimately, of course, what the fans are asking for.
There is a penalty to this though, isn't there?
That's the biggest downside from a sporting perspective. It automatically carries a 12-point deduction, so the club know exactly where that will land them. From the sporting side of things, that is the biggest sporting penalty to administration. But I think ultimately, if you look at the fan base, and it's pretty clear their message to the current owner, administration in some ways could be a positive way to get that owner out. And I think that's where we're at the minute, given what we know and where this might lead in the future.
A fast-moving story, that one. Now, Doncaster's Beau Greaves has confirmed she will play in the World Darts Championship and take her place on the professional tour. She's been a face on the circuit since she was 15, and on Monday, the three-time women's world champion beat Luke Liddler to reach the World Youth Championship final. She'll now compete in the PDC World Championships next year. Exciting to see what she does next.
Yes, good luck, Beau. Thank you very much, Sally. And we stay with a sporting theme because an ultra marathoner is running almost 600 kilometres between football stadiums after a series of epic challenges, raising money for a close cause to his heart. Archie Whitfield has already run between Premier League grounds, Scottish clubs, and now heads to Portugal. It's all to raise money for the Brain Charity after his dad died from a brain tumour. I caught up with him earlier.
Yeah, so far it's been going well. Back in April I did the Premier League run, so I started in Newcastle at St James's Park and I finished at the Emirates, and that was an 835-mile run in sort of 25 days. That went really well, sort of loved it, and I thought, right, I've got to keep going with this now, it's too much fun. So then in August I went to do the Scottish Premiership, and I did that in just over a week. So
I mean, it's incredible, but your dad's at the centre of this, isn't he? Just tell me about him.
I mean, yeah, he was a fantastic bloke, sort of man of boundless personality, always very positive, always saw the best in the sort of people around him, and was always looking to sort of improve his community around him. He was a teacher, so sort of always wanted to help students. He became our local green councillor just about a year before he passed away, and yeah, was always just trying to improve the community and the people around him, really.
And the charity, we see it there, the Brain Charity, you've already raised £24,000, is that right?
That's right, yeah. So aim is ultimately to get to £100,000, but so far we're doing all right, but a long way to go.
Now tell me about the next challenge. I would want to be putting my feet up now, but not you. 24 grand, not enough. You're off to Portugal.
That's it. So on Thursday, I start the League of Portugal run. So I'll start on Madeira, and I'll finish just north of Porto in Braga. So I'm looking to do that in 10 days. It's going to be about 585 kilometres, which is about 360 miles, and it'll be about 60k a day. So should be good. Seeing a new country, and I'm excited for it.
And what will go through your mind as you're doing this challenge?
I think obviously always sort of thinking of Dad, and wanting to carry his spirit with me and how he sort of went about life. But also sort of the many people with sort of neurological conditions that maybe can't do what I'm doing, and being able to help them is always a massive motivation.
Well, it's an incredible challenge, and I know you're going to make a huge difference to people's lives going forward. Best of luck, and I can't wait to see how you get on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
for
Archie.
having me.
He's going to smash it, isn't he? Now, next tonight, it's the mysterious case of the missing necklace and the West Yorkshire gallerist who turned detective to find it. And this is what has gone missing, isn't it? Beautiful, a fabulous silver necklace destined for the Paris catwalk. But where has it gone? Kathy Killick has the story.
With its gorgeous real butterfly set in a rock crystal dome and free-flowing silver setting and chain, this necklace is a prize collector's piece. It was made by Malcolm Morris in the early 1990s, but these photos may be all that's left of it, as it's disappeared. Now Sarah Burns-Collins, a gallery owner and jeweller at Salts Mill, is trying to find it.
It was commissioned by Simon Costin, who's a really well-known art director and worked very closely with Alexander McQueen. So the necklace then was taken to Paris and was going to be featured in Alexander McQueen's first show with Givenchy. And at that point, we don't know what happened. The necklace went missing.
In 1997, when the necklace disappeared, Alexander McQueen was the big new noise in fashion. Startlingly original and avant-garde at the time, he became famous for his ultra-low-waisted trousers, the bumpster. When asked, he didn't know the whereabouts of the necklace, and he very sadly took his own life in 2010.
We haven't had any distinct leads. We've had a couple of people contact and say they think they may have seen something similar in New York, but we don't really have any facts so far.
It's quite three-dimensional, and it has moonstones that are set onto the silver.
Also on the trail is Malcolm Morris, who actually made the necklace. No easy task.
It was quite a nightmare to do, and I was quite young. I wasn't that long out of college. I was a bit scared by doing it at first. It was such a big commission.
Sarah's currently showing an exhibition of Malcolm's work, which set her off looking for the necklace as an exhibit. Having reached a dead end, she's asking for help.
We're really hoping that by reaching out to people and showing them the necklace, it would be amazing if we could find out if it's possibly gone into someone's private collection and it's just been hidden away and they don't know what they've had.
Now I know that it hasn't been seen in 30 years. It would be just really nice to see it again, really. So, and maybe to, put the mystery to bed, so to speak.
Media exposure may shed some light. If it does, we'll let you know. Kathy Killick, BBC Look North, Saltaire.
It's absolutely huge, isn't it? It's hard to believe that it's gone missing. Now, Diwali celebrations are getting underway at a historic site near Keighley tonight. Working with the Bradford Hindu Council, the National Trust is lighting up East Riddleston Hall. And Tom Ingle is there for us now. Tom, what a glorious backdrop.
Good evening, Amanda. Yes, with the nights drawing in and it's starting to get a bit chilly, we could all do with a bit of extra light in our lives, couldn't we? So here at East Riddleston Hall, they are definitely getting the season started by hosting an early Diwali party. I'm delighted to be joined by Joe from the National Trust and Deepak from the Bradford Hindu Council. First of all, Joe, has the Manor House seen scenes like this before?
Well, this is our second Diwali this year, and the community is just central to everything we do here. In fact, East Riddleston is only here because of two very tenacious brothers in the 1930s who saved the hall from demolition. So our work with our local community, our friends in the Hindu Council for Bradford, have just helped us to continue this tradition.
And the rooms are decorated inside, aren't they? If you come here, you can explore, you get a different sense of the different parts of India and the tweaks they make when they celebrate Diwali.
Our lovely friends in the local community groups have loaned us some of their beautiful dresses and their bed linens to tell the stories about how Diwali is separated celebrated throughout India.
Thank you very much, Joe. Deepak, you're from the Bradford Hindu Council. First of all, congratulations on the Togs game. You are looking absolutely splendid tonight.
Thank you.
If I could get away with that, I absolutely would be doing right now. What is the central theme of Diwali? I know it's about lights and joy, but what is the reason?
Basically, introducing darkness over light. It's getting rid of the ignorance and bringing wisdom to one's personal self, and having that journey to evolve into a better person, and bringing people in from different backgrounds and communities to celebrate darkness over light.
And like every good festival, there's some fantastic food smells coming out of your party. There's some wonderful music and great costumes as well, aren't there?
Yeah, it's a good excuse to dress up, meet people, and intermingle and enjoy and dance.
And certainly in these darker nights, how long does Diwali last?
If it was in India, we have our national holiday, but the actual Diwali is on the 20th on Monday. But obviously, as of Christmas, we started celebrating earlier.
Why not?
As people get to know more about it. So we're having more and more functions where we're explaining what Diwali is and how it's bringing everybody together.
Thank you very much indeed, both of you. Happy Diwali. If you're coming, yes, is that
Diwali?
Shuk Diwali. Okay, I apologise if I've offended anyone by my mispronouncing that. Come down to East Riddlesden Hall over the next few days, and you too can join in the celebrations.
Thank you.
Tom, thank you very much. Now, a nationwide search for the best new comedy talent will find its winner later tonight in Bradford. The BBC New Comedy Awards final is being filmed at the iconic Alhambra Theatre this evening before being shown on BBC One and BBC Three in mid-November. Earlier in the day, workshops for budding artists in the city were held ahead of the awards tonight. On the panel was head judge Fatiya Al-Ghori, who said it's important to give a stage to people earlier in their comedic careers.
It's great coming up to a city like Bradford, not only because it's the City of Culture for 2025, but also like just to celebrate talent everywhere, and Bradford's like right in the middle, and everything else is like around it. So, and that's what the competition is. We're just getting people from all over the country, bringing them together, and letting them fight it out for the final.
And all the episodes of the BBC New Comedy Awards are available on the BBC iPlayer. Now, do you keep an eye on your neighbours? How would they feel if you got the binoculars out or rigged up a camera to keep watch? Well, One Street in Chapel Allerton in Leeds has been monitoring a group that flock in every summer after the community set up special homes to encourage the international visitors to temporarily settle. This weekend, they'll be on TV talking all about it. Abby Jayola has more.
Sometimes come home quite late as well. Sometimes they don't leave for hours.
Martin likes to keep tabs on all the comings and goings on his street, but he's not snooping on his neighbours. He's only interested in their visitors. There's a group that fly in every summer and stay for weeks. But they're birds, swifts to be precise.
I think it's because they're only here for 3 months for a start. They're here a month and a half either side of the longest day, so they can get maximise their insect feeding. And they come all the way from Africa to here, southern and central Africa, to here, to the same nest site every year. I know other bird does that. Most birds change the nests every year, but swifts stay loyal to the nest site and they come back here, the exact same spot from Africa. It's amazing.
The swifts come here to breed, but nationally the population has declined by 2/3 in the last 30 years, and they're now on the UK's red list of birds of conservation concern. So Martin decided to try and build a colony and roped in his neighbours to help.
2013, we noticed that 3 pairs have moved into the boxes, which was really good and really quite fortunate. The graph's gone in that direction all the time, so the more boxes you put up, the more swifts we get. So now we've got about 40 pairs in the streets from about 90 odd nest boxes, so nearly 50% occupation, which is really good.
It's just wonderful to hear that sound.
The BBC's nature programme, Hamza's Hidden Wild Isles, came to film here this summer during swift season, capturing the excitement the birds bring with them every year.
I think Hamza put it right. He goes, did the swifts bring the community back, or did the community bring the swifts back? And I think that is a really, really relevant point, because it is the community that's come together to support and nurture them and to, be welcoming for them to actually come here and reside here. So yeah, absolutely amazing.
know what, it gives you something to talk to your neighbours about. It's easy to just like wave and say hello, and everybody on the street's really friendly, but you find that like it's a topic, like have yours come back yet? Have they had babies? And are you having any new boxes? So it's a real like little community event.
Probably around 14 days old, something like that. They open their eyes about 10 days old.
When the birds are here, their host families can monitor progress on bird box cameras. If you want to see for yourself, watch Hamza's Hidden Wild Isles on BBC One at 6:15 this Sunday. Abby Jayola, BBC Look North, Leeds.
Wonderful, that's not too far from us. We'll have to keep a little eye out, Paul.
That's absolutely right. It's up there with Traitors. It'll be on my TV to watch list.
One to watch, definitely.
Absolutely right. Let's have a look at the forecast, because you have to pick the right day, because Saturday looks the best day of the weekend. Sunday is going to turn very wet. Now, that was a scene replicated right across Yorkshire today. Pretty gloomy, misty and overcast. I've scoured your pictures and I've just found perhaps 3 breaks in this cloud sheet. That was Filey. Filey have been one of the lucky areas where they've seen about 10 minutes of sunshine this week, but it is all change over the weekend, and next week looks very different indeed. If you want to send any pictures in on X, on Instagram and the Weather Watcher website, the addresses are on your screen right now. So tomorrow, more of the same. This is Bolton Bridge, Bolton Abbey, more of these sort of leaden skies. There's a better chance perhaps of seeing a few breaks in the cloud sheet developing for a time, especially in eastern areas tomorrow. But at long last, the Atlantic is going to push this high pressure that's trapped all that cloud this week out of the way, but it means we've got a spell of wet and at times windy weather to come on Sunday. So for the Yorkshire Marathon in York, after a dry start, it will turn wet, and then low pressure dominating the outlook for next week. Now, there's the satellite picture. You can see the extent of the cloud. The breaks aren't that far away, just in the North Sea. Some of those, again, might come inland through the course of tonight. But it's a very quiet, still sort of night. It's dry, cloudy. If we get any cloud breaks, there will be some mist and patchy fog. And we're looking at lowest temperatures down to 7 or 8 degrees Celsius. So tomorrow's high water times in Filey at 3 o'clock, and again at 20 to 4 tomorrow evening. So it's a fairly familiar story. It's a cloudy start. The best chance of any breaks possibly towards that coast for time, a little bit of sunshine. Elsewhere, we keep a lot of cloud. There might actually be the odd spot of drizzle coming out of the cloud in the afternoon, but most of us will be dry. Temperatures, again, a little on the chilly side. Some spots have only reached 10 degrees. If we're lucky, we'll be up to 13. Leeds, Bradford and Huddersfield, that's 55 degrees Fahrenheit. The further outlook, it's not looking too clever. Sunday, a brief dry start, but it will turn wet across all parts of Yorkshire and the North Midlands through the day. Then next week, unsettled, low pressure in charge, showers or longer spells of rain, but at least at times there'll be a little bit of sunshine to be had. That's the forecast, Amanda.
Thank you very much, Paul. We have had worse, haven't we? That's it from us. Do have a lovely weekend, whatever you have planned, and we'll be back with your late weather and news just after 10 o'clock. Goodbye.